हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हो? आपका स्वागत है तिरपान स्टडी सेंटर में। आज जो हम करने जा रहे हैं क्लास 10th का जो है सोशल साइंस यानी सामाजिक विज्ञान, जो कि आज हम करेंगे चैप्टर 4, जिसमें हम मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड 2 यानी चौथा चैप्टर जो है आधुनिक विश्व 2 है, जो कि काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण है। और ये टॉपिक हर एक क्लास के बच्चों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, चाहे वो सीबीएसई के बच्चे हों, चाहे एनआईएस बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, यूपी बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, बिहार बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, या जो भी बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, सभी के लिए ये टॉपिक महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा। इवन कि जो बच्चे जो है कॉम्पिटिशन की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए भी काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण ये टॉपिक रहने वाला है। इसमें हम हर एक जो बातों पर जो है प्रकाश डालेंगे और जानने की कोशिश करेंगे, सोचेंगे, विचार करेंगे। लेकिन ये सब तब होगा जब वीडियो स्टार्ट होगा। लेकिन वीडियो स्टार्ट करने से पहले एक बात जो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, जिसे आपको सोचना भी चाहिए, विचार भी करना चाहिए और अमल भी करना चाहिए, वो ये है कि जब भी वीडियो देखिए पूरा देखिए, क्योंकि अधूरा जानकारी सदैव खतरनाक होता है। साथ में एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात ये भी रहता है, अगर आप पहली बार वीडियो देख रहे हो तो लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना, क्योंकि दोस्तों लाइक कीजिएगा तो बनाने वाले का मनोबल बढ़ता है, सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा तो इससे ये होता है कि जब भी मैं कोई वीडियो डालूंगा उसका नोटिफिकेशन आपको समय रहते मिल जाएगा। और देखिए शेयर का मतलब ये होता है कि आपके थ्रू ना जाने किन बच्चों को हेल्प मिल जाए, ये आप भी नहीं जानोगे, इसलिए जो है आप शेयर जरूर करो, ठीक है। व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस पे भी लगाओ। दोस्तों आरएनएस सेंटर जो कई मानने में बहुत से बच्चों के लिए हेल्पफुल है, चाहे वो 8th क्लास हो, 9th 10th 11th 12th हो, चाहे वो एनआईएस बोर्ड के बच्चे हों, ठीक है, चाहे बीए एमए के बच्चे हो, सभी क्लासों के लिए कुछ ना कुछ जो है तिरपान सेंटर में उपलब्ध है। तो इसलिए आपके लिए ज़रूरी है कि आप सब्सक्राइब करके इसको चैनल को जो है सेव कर लो, नहीं तो बाद में अगर रिसर्च करोगे तो शायद आपको ये चैनल प्राप्त ना हो। तो इसलिए सोचना नहीं, विचार नहीं करना है, सब्सक्राइब करके जो है अपने पास सेव करना है। दोस्तों ये तो बात था आपके लिए, लेकिन आप देखते हैं हमारा आज टॉपिक क्या है। द वर्ल्ड वॉर वन। There is a World War One. That's the most important for the here. Industrialization, colonialism, and imperialism create a intense of areas among their European nations over their possessions of colony in the Asia and Africa. This competition became more acute by the end of 19th century, when the colonies were no longer available in Asia, Africa. Compromise was not possible due to the mature is a distrust and hostilities. And in 1940, a war began in Europe, which soon infected there is the entire world. It involved all the major countries of the world and their colonies. The damage caused by this war had no precedent in history. For the first time in history, all the resources of warnings state were mobilized. It involved their army, navy, and air force. The civilians' population suffering to the tremendous is casualties is because the indiscriminate of bombing. Since the world was spread over a very large of the world for the first time, you know that the spread of the war, there is a world faced for the first time. It is now as World War One. There is a now as the World War One. It's a mark a turning point in the world history. It was not a sudden occurrence, but a culmination of large number of force and development is covering a long period before 1940. There is 1914. There is the most important period time of now the First World War. According to First World War, the next point here, causing of World War One. Why there is a causing of World War One here? The imperialist rivalries is among the different nations like England, France, Germany, and other were major cases of war. Alien war where is awarded because the possibility of acquiring more colonies were still there. But the situation had now changed. Most of Asia and Africa had already been divided up, and is a possibility of further expansion were not there. It was possible only by the disposing some imperialist country their colony. And this division of colony create a condition of war. In the last quarter of 19th century, Germany had made a tremendous its economic and industry progress and left England and France far behind in the industry production. She needed a colony as much as a Britain to be fulfill her economic needs. In the imperial race, Germany became a main is a competitor of England, and British and naval supremacy was also changed when Germany built their large warship Imperator and built the Kells Canal connected the Northern Sea and Baltic Sea, endangering the England coastal line. Germany also built a railway line connected to the Berlin and Baghdad, and which made it easier for Germany to be sent as troops as a supplier to be east. But it posed a threat to be British colonies there. Like a Germany all over the major power of European and Japan also there is a imperialistic ambition. Like a Germany, all other major power of Europe and Japan also had their imperialist ambition. Italy after the unification wanted to the Tripoli in the North Africa which under Ottoman Empire. There is Ottoman Empire and France want to be odd Marcos to be a is a conquest in Africa while the Russia had their ambition in Iran. Japan had there is ambition in the far east where sea is able to be extend their influence after the Russo-Japanese War of 1905. Russo-Japanese Wars of 1905 there is an important war. Austria had their ambition in the Ottoman Empire, while the United States of America was slowly emerging as a powerful nation. The United States of America was slowly emerging a powerful nation. Here, main interest was to be preserve their independence to of trade as it was increasing at a fast pace. The expansion and influence of any great power was posing a major threat to the world peace. The next year, system of alliance. There is according to the World War One system of alliance. The confessed and confirmation nations for more colonies is promoted their imperial power to took the allies. In 1882 is Germany, Austria and Italy signed the Triple Alliance pledging a mutual military assistance against the rival powers. England and Russia and France signed to be Triple Entente in 1907. Emergence of two mutually opposed groups in divided Europe into the hostile campus and leading to the tension and conflict among the European power. And these countries is competed with one another in producing deadly weapon, which lead to a race of is armaments. A mutual hatred as suspensions as a distributed their atmosphere of the pace. The propaganda which has a creator made is clear that if war is a broke out their wall of Europe would be a drain into it. According to World War One, the next topic is the most important arrive here a Pan-Slav movement and Balkana politics. That is important. Pan-Slav movement and Balkana politics. Balkana region of Eastern Europe consisted of many states such as Greece, Romania, and Bulgaria, and Siberia, and Montenegro, and many other small states also here. And originally these states were under the control of the Ottoman Empire or the ruler of Turkey. By the beginning of 20th century, the Ottoman Empire began to decline. That is, the Ottoman Empire began to decline, and Europeans' power, including Austria and Russia, as a result for the obtained a foothold in the region. The matter of got complicated with the resonance of nationalism among the people in most of these states. There were is called to the Slavs. This where is called Slav. What is Slavs here? The matter got complicated with the resurgence of nationalism among their people in most of these states. There is called Slavs. Sandever is scattered in many of Eastern Europe states, and they start a national movement called Pan-Slav movement. There is a Pan-Slav movement is a national movement. The main demand was the entire of Slavs is one of state under Siberia, and the state which had to be a large slave of population in this movement. There is a largest slabs is a population participate in this movement, and Siberia was supported by the Russia, and whereas the Austrians opposed to the city Siberia and the national movement. There is an important point here. Siberia was supported by the Russia, and whereas the Austrians is opposed Siberia and their national movement, and this resulting in the rebels between the Russia and Austria. Austria did not want to a strong Siberia state which would be hamper their ambition of expansion. In 1908, Austria annexed to the two Slav state. There is two Slav states in this time is a Bosnia and the Herzegovina, and the leading to the hostile of between the Siberia and Austria. Between 1912 and 1914, for Balkan state is a fought. There is a two war against two Ottoman Empire for independence, and Turkey was defeated and lost all the positions and Europe. After the hardly set up independent state of Balkania and against Siberia, ambition of Great Siberia, and hostility is mounted between to Austria on his side and Siberia as Russia on other. This is important here. The hostility is mounted between to Austria and one side of Siberia and Russia on other. That is important. As you can see, by the 1914, their atmosphere was explosive. Against this background, Akar Kodals, Francis Fred Dant, and there's to be Austrians don't went to be Sarajevo and the capital of Zina and other state visit. As he was getting down from his car and he was assassinated by Siberian youth on 28 June 1914. The murder of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand and become the immediately case of the war. There is the most important point here, and also is asking for the UPSC exam, not question on exam time. There is the recently causing of the war. First of all, are recently causing. There is immediately causing here. There is immediately causing here is a Siberia youth on 28 June 1914. The murder of Archduke Francis Ferdinand because they immediately causing here. Austria held the Siberia responsible for this assimilation of their princes as here with an ultimatum of the various conditions. There are the Austrias is the give to the ultimatum for this murder and assured there is Russian help. Siberia refused to be accept the ultimatum and start to the mobilizing airdrops on the border. On 28 July 1914, Austria is declared war on the Siberia. There is recently immediately current of the First World War. And on the August 1914, Germany declared war on the Russia. On 3rd August 1914, Germany declared war on France. As German troops entered Belgium and England declared war of Germany on 4th August 1914. Thus, a minor incident in Europe and triggered with the war with all the countries joined in, which soon took the shape of World War I. That is the most important question here. According to World War I, the next point here, the causes of the war. The causes of the war, there is a 1914 to 1918. This is period time the war. The World War I, which is started in August 1914, continued till November 1918. During this period, many important battles were fought, such as a battle of Marine in 1914. 14. Battle of Verdun. Battle of Semins and Battle of the Jutland in 1916. The year is 1917, such two important developments. One was the entry of USA into the war in April, and second was the withdrawal of Russia from the war of November. There is a most important, there is a development in this period time here. In 1915, a British passenger ship Lusitania was sunk off a Germany boat, killing of 128 USA civilians and who were traveling in the sea. The USS Santos took a very serious view on this. Santos, there is a rule making department. There is the USA, and USA Santos took a very serious view on this incident. There is a 128 USA civilians is here die. And besides to become a powerful nation, Germany would be pose a threat to the USA supremacy. And however, USA began to major supply of arms and the ammunition. There is a continuations of the war would result in economical advantage for the USA. And keeping all this in a view, she decided to join the war in 1917. That is important. Do you remember regarding about the October Revolution of 1917 in Russia? One of the main demand of the revolutionaries was peace. So immediately after the revolution under the leadership of Lenin, Russia and withdrew from the war and signed to peace treaty with Germany in 1918. By July 1918, Germany began to cause collapse, and Bulgaria and Turkey surrounded in their September and October respectively. There is the most important in this time. By the July 1918, Germany began to collapse, and Bulgaria and Turkey surrounded in the September and October respectively. On 3rd November in 1918, the Austrian Empire surrounded due to the spirit unrest in Austria. After similar revolt by the German people and German Empire, Wilhelm's II, the fell Holland and Germany was a proclaimed a republic. The new government signed as a armistice on 11 November 1918 and bearing and the end to the World War I. That is important here. In the course of the war, many new weapons such as a machine gun, poison gas, liquid fire, submarine and tank were used. There is a this time of making a new weapon like that machine gun, poison gas, liquid fire, submarine and tank were used. New strategies as a military techniques were experimented by both sides. England used navals and economical is a blockade, tanks and air warriors. The French use a trench as a welfare. Germany use a U-boat and submarine to sink ship under the sea. The next point here, immediately consequence of World War One. Immediately consequence of World War One. The World War One was one of the most disasters and fightings even the world had a witness. A million people, including innocent and civilians, lost their lives. There was a large scale of damage of property in most of the European countries. The total expenditure was estimated at the staggering of fight of $180 billion. There is a $180 billion. There is a most important on the war. The economical of the most of country was shattered is resulting in the social tension, unemployment and poverty. There is a important for here. Between January and June 1919, the Allies power met a conference in the places as Versailles, the Paris to decide to the future of defeated powers. Through the representatives of nearly 27 countries attended the conference, the discussion where is taken by the head of state of Britain. France and USA also. There is a 27 countries attend their conference. The decision where is taken by head of state of Britain, France and USA. Russia was excluded and the defected power were not allowed to be attend. The allies signed different treaties with their defected powers. The most important them were the Treaty of the Versailles signed with Germany, the Treaty of the East Germans with the Austria and the Treaty of Sub with the Turkey. That is important. The Treaty of Versailles shattered Germany as politically, economically, and militarily, and Germany was held guilty for aggression and was asked to pay a hug amount of money as a compensation for the war. There is a turning point for here. The Second World War in the rise, and this reason. The Treaty of Versailles is shattered Germany politically, economically, and militarily. Germany held guilty of aggression and was asked to pay a hug amount of money, a compensation for the war. Alaska is a Louisiana which were is a take from France in 1871 and were to be returned to the France. Another land of the land between the France and Germany was demilitarized and both under control of Allied power. That also is the reason for Second World War here. The coal-rich Saar and Valley was given to France for 15 years. The coal-rich Saar Valley was given to the France for 15 years. Germany army was disbanded. Ship were sunk and the army was distracted to the 1 lakh soldier only. The Germany was despaired of all her colonies. Much of the territory in Europe were given to the Belgium and Poland. The Treaty of the East Germans separated to Hungary for Austria and Hungary was made a independent state on this period of time. And Austria had to recognize their independence of Hungary and had to be give part of territory to the Slovakia, Romania, and Yugoslavia. There is the most important 3 states in this period times here. Czechoslovakia and Romania and Slovakia. The treaty itself was a block of the Ottoman Empire, and some of these states were given to the Allied power and maintained. Example of Palestine or Mesopotamia were a give of Britain and Syria to France. There is a important here. The Palestines in the Mesopotamia were given to Britain and Syria to France, and their Allied power were took after this country till they become a self-reliant. That is important here. The war and the peace treaties is transforming the political map of the world and particularly Europe. You know that there is change of the political map of the world and particularly for the Europe. After the October Revolution in Russia, the ruling nationality of the Romanovs and the warmth is overwhelmed by the end of the war. And Hohenzollern, the century of Germany and is a Habsburg, country of Austria were removed and republic government was set up. That is important here. The Habsburg, the century of Austria were removed and republic government was set up. Monarchy was also abolished in this Turkey after the revolution in 1922. Monarchy was also abolished in Turkey after the revolution in 1922. And 2 new states, Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia. There is a new 2 states. There is a Czechoslovakia and the Yugoslavia. There is a create out of territory taken from to the defected powers. And Hungary emerged as an independent state on this period of time. The Hungary is emerged as on the independent state. The blasted states such as the Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia and the Finland, where is made a independent state. The states of Romania and Poland were enlarged in size. The state Romania and Poland were enlarged in size. All the changes to boundary of most of the states of Europe. All there is important. It was evident that the pay settlements were discarded and unequal settlement which were imposed upon the defected power. They had no say in the deliberations. There is the end of the war, say the end of European supremacy and emergence of USSR and the USS, a major power on this time. There is a supremacy of emerge of USSR and USA, a major power. The period also says the strengthenings of national a movement in the countries of the Asia, Africa. There is an important. The period also says the strengthening of the national movement in the country of Asia and Africa. Even before the war ended on November 1918, the USA President Woodrow Wilson had approached to the pace of program now as the Wilson as a 14 point. The most important point was proposal for their establishment of international organization, the maintaining peace and security in their world. On the basis of the proposal, the legal and national set up in 1920. There is a most important thing for the Wilson foreign point here. There is a proposal for their organization of the international organization maintaining. There is the only here a main. There is a role here security on the world. The next point here, the legals of a nation. The League of the Nation is the first international organization set up in 1920, which is a headquarter of Geneva. The headquarter of Geneva, its a main aim were to maintain and peace and security in the world and prevent future war, promote to international cooperation, settle international debt and peacefully, and improve the condition of laborers in member country. There is a most important aim on the legals of nation, but fail. But fail because 20 year after the Second World War arise. There is totally failed legal of nation here. But there is important is a member of country, but unfortunately there is a legal fail to be prevent a war confessed which is a was set up. When the Italy attacked Ethiopia in 1935, you know that the legal of nation totally here fell. There is a reason why Italy attacked the Ethiopia in 1935 and Japan attacked the Manchurias in 1936. The legal could not be nothing. Also, material arrivals among the nation for the possessions of colonies continue exposing their imperial ambition. There is a legal of nation here totally failed.